Go.
Give us money on Patreon. Just going to the chase right now.
Patreon.com/area22. If you are a Chad, then you'd go there.
No one knows what that is.
And that's just
no
yes,
one knows
they do.
what your hug box means.
Yes, they do. They know it's a country in Africa.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Geologist, no, not geologist.
You're dumb as hell.
Who's the people who study maps?
Geographers.
Geographers, don't at me. Chad, if you guys are from Chad, then you would go to area22.com.
You know, I think actually Trump had made like travel bans on Chad. Like he got rid of them like this year.
So no Chads allowed in America.
He got rid of the travel bans to Chad.
Oh, so Chads are allowed. So you can come over here, earn money, and then give it to us because you love our show so much.
Yeah, our show's name is Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean, by the way.
People of Chad, we bring you quality content.
All right, shut up. Let's go.
All right. We're revisiting existentialism.
Sorry.
What?
Shut up's not a nice way of saying be quiet, so be quiet instead.
Shut up. We're revisiting existentialism.
Yeah, we didn't know what the hell we were talking about the first time.
I know what I'm talking about.
48 weeks ago.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about because you read something by John Paul Sartre. Shut up. You read something by Sartre and you didn't understand anything of it. Oh my god. Bella joins us again. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Shut up, Mike. Relax.
Okay.
Or else you're going back in the audience.
Well,
Get
no.
out of here.
I won't have to. Whatever. Let's keep going.
By the way, Tales from the Bottom of the Ocean is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, of one. Of two, rather.
2 people.
No cell phones allowed.
Exactly.
I'll be like freaking Patty LaPone and like kick you out of the audience with my own bare hands.
Or what was that guy who ruined his career? The stand-up guy.
Michael Richards?
Yeah.
No, we're not. Let's continue.
I feel like Michael Richards because people are making too much noise in the audience.
Continue, please.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Please.
So Bella, thank you for being here.
What did I just say about no cell phones?
How was the drive here?
It was honestly, it sucked. There was a lot of traffic. But
Yeah. No,
fine.
it was.
It's fine.
Yeah, we did make her come here on rush hour.
People are fucking idiots on Long Island, like driving.
Why? Why do you think
Because
so?
they don't know how to drive.
I think.
Also, especially.
No,
And
listen.
me
I know.
worse.
Listen, we come here chuckling literally the entire way, and somehow we don't crash because I'm an amazing driver.
Knock on wood, we end up just.
He does nothing but tell jokes and put me in dangerous situations by yelling in my face when a freaking speck of dust flies in the windshield, and we somehow still make it out alive, so we're fine. All right, so
What would Jean Paul Sartre say about that? Or Sartre, whatever the hell his last name is. I don't really care.
I don't know, he's French. But all right, so
His car probably. Never mind.
Albert Camus was a bad driver. Actually, no, his friend was the one who was driving.
Halle Berry's not too good either.
All right, and for the upteenth time, we're revisiting existentialism. I have
Visiting? I'm sorry. I didn't
existentialism for God's sake.
Existentialism, as I would say.
Yes, exactly.
Existentialism?
It's just nothing.
How did they approve this show? Anyway. All right, so I remember when we first started talking, we went to this restaurant, right?
What was it called?
It was called Suki Hibachi or whatever. It's not really important, but we did it. No, but we did it before as a prenup or whatever the word is. As a
Prenup?
I don't know what the word is.
It's definitely not prenup.
as a whatever to the to when we did Women, Men, and Civilization.
Precursor?
Yeah, whatever. And as a precursor to the episode about women, men, and civilization, and we were talking a little bit about philosophy and existentialism, and me and Bella have a sort of contrasting view on,
Everything.
I guess where it comes from.
Everything.
I don't know.
What, existentialism? Where that comes from?
Kind of, yeah. Like what do you want to start or should I start?
Let
Well,
her
I
start.
kind of came up with like a definition for it. I don't know if you did anything like that.
No, we
That might be.
didn't. No, we didn't.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so my definition is basically that it's like a philosophy that examines like the psychosomatic and psychosocial, both conscious and unconscious human experiences.
Okay.
So basically, how our mind interacts with our body and how our mind interacts with our environment and the people in it.
All right.
Yeah, so that's kind of like as a basis.
So
I don't know.
It's just examining interpersonal behavior.
Well, it's way more than that. It's like one of those philosophies that you can't really define, and that's why my definition is a paragraph. So I don't really know if you want me to like read it, but
like what's the most integral part of it?
So like basically, most philosophies are looking out into the world.
Yeah.
When I think that existentialism calls us to look into ourselves, and that's really important, and it's like the first type of philosophy that did that, and that's why it was so like critiqued.
You think so?
Do I think so?
That's the first one to look inwardly instead of outwardly.
In the way that it did, yes.
Is that in an egotistical way or in a like a?
No. Well.
Maybe.
I shouldn't say egotistical. I mean like egoism. Is it like egoism? Meaning like you should put yourself before others and.
No, it doesn't. I don't think it gets into that. I think.
All right, good, because that's why Ian ran into the pizza. All right.
What?
Good.
Go on.
It asks us to like give meaning to our lives from within instead of searching, or to recognize that the meaning in our lives comes from within, doesn't come from like external sources.
Okay.
Or if it is an external source, we put the meaning onto it. It doesn't have meaning itself.
It's not like innate meaning.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
That's why it can sometimes be spun into nihilism when it's not really.
Exactly. But it's based on existence preceding essence, which is like their first like principle basically of existentialism, meaning that like we come into existence, we materialize in the world, and then we come to know ourselves through our consciousness, and that's how we create our like essence.
And that's like the little explanation by who? Like I forget. It was
Sartre.
Heidegger? Oh.
That's Sartre, Beauvoir. They all kind of come
I like
back
that
to
idea.
that existence preceding essence, which contrasts from a lot of like religious beliefs, because God creates us in His image and likeness. Like we are. Like determinism states that we have like a purpose before we even become who we are.
Well, that's where I think that's where we actually kind of diverge, because like I felt like what I was gathering from early theological presuppositions on like the self and the sort of individual, the way that they sort of portray it, I wasn't actually taking it as deterministically, like there being a deterministic point to like what they were saying. Like I feel as if that was a sort of branch of theological philosophy that I don't feel it wasn't really the only branch. I don't think it was really the most popular one either. I think it was like during the Protestant Reformation. I think that was just one of the ideas to come from it. I believe. I can't exactly remember, but there was a couple of ways that they interpreted this idea of like the self and the individual. Like there were some people who are preordained to be sinners, like this sort of predestination kind of philosophy. But the person I like to focus on the most is, the one I did the most in the stuff I got here is Saint Augustine of Hippo, who I fit what? Who I fit what? You don't like hippos, Mike?
Don't like hippos. My mother's a hippo. I like this whole existentialism thing, though.
Shit.
I like that it gives the. I'm kidding. Oh, she watches the show. We have to cancel the show. The show's canceled. Done. Pull us right now.
It's okay, muscle man. Take it easy.
All right, but anyway, what was funny is I like that. I like this idea of existentialism being like an unselfish way of looking at the individual. I like that a lot.
Is it unselfish? Like, is it just the
consider it
point
to
to
be.
be unselfish, or?
All right, I shouldn't say unselfish, like definitely unselfish, but like the way it's looking at it is rather unselfish, or at least if it's not unselfish, at least it's not self-centered while still kind of focusing on the self.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool and good, and I really hope my mom's watched this.
I think it's really not selfish, because especially the way they talk about like existential projects and the way that we're supposed to like live our lives.
Authentically, yeah.
It's authentically, but it's also supposed to be the way that we would want the rest of humanity to live.
Yeah.
So none of us want to live in a terrible world where we're like, so it's not selfish. It's kind of thinking about everybody else in a way.
I don't know. Like, I guess I don't really have enough information on existentialism, what they really sort of thought.
But you wrote the episode.
No, I did. Shut up. Let me explain. No, like, I guess I don't have enough of, like, I don't know enough about the sort of rationales that they came up with about existentialism, but, like, enough to just say like, oh, it's selfish or unselfish. But like my point is that I think that there is a my main point was that like I think that it's not while it's sort of purports itself to be supremely secularist, that I don't see a like it's.
I'm very sorry for doing that so close to the mic.
I don't see it as being particularly liberated from the sort of what's the word? From the it can't really liberate itself from the theological.
Well, we're getting abducted. That's my mom coming right now, looking around me.
I'm sorry. There's a really strange, like, deep noise that just now stopped. That was happening.
It's called subwoofer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, what?
Excuse me. It's happening again.
Well,
Anyway, on with the show.
Wait, so I want to know, like, if it can't be, like, reconciled
From this, I don't think it can be chiefly secular without like an element of faith. Like I think like there's an element of faith in existentialism that makes it impossible to separate it from
Wrong.
its theological roots. I think
What do you mean by faith?
Like the way I sort of I think I wrote it down here. Well, for one thing, I think that existentialism is definitely trying to react to the collapse of traditional faith. I think it is somewhat of a reaction to it, by the way that it establishes its presuppositions. But I think it tries to find it tries to produce a philosophy that tries to find legitimacy in itself, like in the self, as opposed to it coming from the some sort of higher order being such as God. But I think in order to do that, though, in order to like the mere act of trying to instead of trying to find legitimacy not from a higher order being, but instead of the self, I feel as if you can't just do that and do this instead of that and say like I'm not being faithful. Like I think both require faith, and I think both. Well, yeah, I think both require faith. Like I hold on, I do have a.
He's doing the thing like little kids do. He's reading with his pinkies.
Yeah, I think.
Oh.
I think it's right here. I think values are simply sources of meaning, and to derive meaning from values, one must be faithful.
Yeah, well, I think existentialism is about giving value to things.
All right.
But it's not about giving value to what everybody else gives value to. It's about what you give value to.
I think there is actually an atheistic branch of existentialism, but I'm not too sure what they do.
Well, it's mostly atheistic.
Yeah, but there's like one that's like super atheistic.
No, I don't know.
It's literally called super atheistic existentialism. Look it up it's on Wikipedia.
By Mike Paul Sartre.
Yeah.
What did you say? Because his antics made me. It just went in one ear and then out the other.
No, I think that so it's about giving value. It's not about not having values, but it's about recognizing that your values, like you put value into things. So like we differ on the whole faith thing. That's because you put value into faith and God and things like that. I don't personally put value into that in my life. So that would be like an example of how your existential project differs from my existential project. Because none of it really matters at the end of the day, because whether you believe in God and I don't believe in God, we're both going to die one day, and we're going to go through the same natural processes.
Speak for yourselves.
Mike's
immortal.
Mike's gonna be reincarnated into another dungeon master.
I'm going to be a phoenix. I'm a phoenix dude.
All right, but my point is that like you can't really. Like, the problem that I'm having is that, like, I feel as if you're trying to say that faith isn't a transcendent kind of thing, though. Like, I think it is transcendent. I think it's transcendent of personal experiences and ideas. Like, I think that you have to, like, it absolutely requires faith in order to harvest meaning from values. I think faith is the sort of tool, and meaning is I guess the yield, and values are the crop.
So you're talking about faith in terms of like you need to have faith in your values.
Yeah.
But that doesn't have to be religious faith.
No, it doesn't. But that's
so
my
that's
point.
different.
Yeah.
I could agree with that. That we have to have faith in
Show's
the
over.
things that we believe. No, I mean we believe that things have value but that's personal. It's not faith as a transcendent thing. That's from inward.
Yeah.
So that's where I disagree about it having to be transcendent.
The reason why I say it's transcendent is because it's something that we all express, and it's like, can we agree that it really is just like a biological mechanism? Like now we're getting into
Biological?
Yeah, like, can we agree that it's like a mechanism of like organic beings?
What?
Like rationally, like our frontal lobes?
Well, yeah, I guess obviously
Like
we're
rocks
thinking,
don't have sentience.
yeah, exactly. It's a component of sentience. Like, obviously, like, it requires a kind of sense of
Imagine if they
rationalism.
do.
Yeah, well, that's
Sure.
what I think the whole conscious versus unconscious examination of
Yeah.
existentialism is.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be. I think I know what you're saying, but I'm not sure. So it's there.
So, like, I'm trying to say that faith is it's a transcendent method by which it's a transcendent method by which beings with sentience and beings with with the ability to rationalize the world or use their ability to reason to derive meaning from the world. It's just a sort of vehicle, like, and it's a vehicle that exists beyond this sort of idea. Mike, I'm finding it really hard to translate my ideas into words
I
when
feel
you do
like that's
that.
adding having to explain faith like that kind of makes it.
I don't know what I'm explaining because this freaking guy
No,
with his
I
glasses
see-
is messing with me.
I see what you're explaining, but I feel like it could be very much explained like simpler by just using the word like rationalization.
All right.
So like we rationalize ideas and we choose which ones that we think it's smart to follow, and that's just adding meaning to things.
Yeah.
Otherwise, everything else to us, everything has different levels of value to us.
Would you call Austin's argument pedantic? Because I think I would.
I don't really know what that word means.
Me neither, honestly.
You don't know what pedantic means?
It means like it goes around in
like,
circles without saying
ne-
anything, right?
It means
Well,
like needlessly
philosophy is
complicated.
Oh.
a circular thing. No,
Yeah.
I think using the word faith implies theism, and I don't think that's what you're really trying to say.
No.
Unless you are. So
Like,
I think
I'm-
that's
I'm
the wrong
trying to-
word.
Which is weird because Joseph Pieper even said, like last week we went over like the divorce between theism and theology and philosophy has been nothing but a problem. Why do you think that is?
Why do I think that is?
If you think it is at all.
The diverging theology from philosophy.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, excuse me. Like, I mean, because then there's no meaning really behind it.
Because philosophers like to ask questions, and they don't want answers.
See, but
Yeah.
so
it's kinda
theology
true.
makes it just keep going around in circles.
But the thing is, like, I think what Austin's kind of saying with like the whole like having faith in yourself, that's kind of like it's not theology in and of itself.
Well,
But-
actually, hold on. Can I say something?
Yeah, you can.
Well, 'cause-
it is your show.
The thing about it, though, is that it might not be theology, but like how about this? Can we define what something being theological means?
Well, strictly speaking, theology is like dealing with God. It's like God, like the God that like you would just say.
Okay,
that's
but
You
a
mean
strict-
metaphysical?
That's like the
Because
strict
that's
definition.
different from theological.
Even then, it's still like
And yeah, it's
yeah.
still
It's
still
also-
more complicated, but it deals with more transient ideas like faith that doesn't have to be technically like
I
married
think-
to God.
I think it's just
Yeah, it
driving
doesn't
on
have
the
to be.
point that there has to be a reason to be asking these questions, and it has to go beyond just the person.
Yeah. Like, I mean, like I said, like I fit like. I'll use the same framework that I had the last time when I was talking about it. I think that faith is just the sort of tool by which we cultivate meaning.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think that existentialism merely just trying to put the spotlight on the self instead of the transcendent
I
force
cannot
of the
believe we
universe.
lost
Well, no,
a
that's
live-action
not-
member.
That's not necessarily true. It's about mankind.
Yeah.
And in,
Person
I think-
kind, please. We're a progressive.
oh my
We're a
God,
progressive
stop.
podcast.
We're a progressive podcast.
We're stunning and brave.
But I think in that way it's transcendent because you're not just it's not just about yourself. It is about, transcending your facticity and finding
does facticity mean?
Facticity is basically the things about you that are like inherently true. So
Okay.
like you guys are men, I'm a female.
Excuse me.
Sorry, I didn't mean to assume your gender. Mike's a girl.
Please never do that ever again.
No,
I'm not
but it's
making
just
light of
the
the
thing,
situation.
like where you were born, you can't change that, but you can change the amount of value that you give to it, and that's transcendence in existentialist terms.
All right.
So like the amount of value that you give to like the way you were brought up. Like I was brought up completely Roman Catholic, and I don't give any value to that. It's not a part of me.
Yeah.
And that's how I want to move forward in my life, and that's my essence that I've created for myself.
Do you think that existentialism tries to, that is the goal, to create your own values? Because I think that's impossible.
No, it's to create your essence. That's the whole existence preceding essence. Like it's to choose your life, not have your life be chosen for you by some like higher being that we don't really know exists. It's basically just calling on people to live. And I think that's because like after World War II, when like it really started blowing up, people lost faith in religion.
Yeah.
And like rightly so. Terrible things happened.
Yeah.
So
I think some people lost religion, but I think others clung to it like way harder, because that's when, because like after World War II, like Thomas Aquinas got back into popularity and like studies and stuff, and that's what like Pieper was a Catholic. Who after World War II, like really drove that point home. I like to rock. I want to rock. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with the statement that Christianity was completely like, not
Well-
completely, but like was
Well, no,
starting
it
to
took
be
a very
abandoned.
fatal blow.
trauma causes radicalism. So it makes sense that in both ways, people became more atheistic and people became
More atheistic.
extremely
The
atheistic.
duality of men.
Yeah,
Exactly.
People.
literally.
The duality of people. Of
The-
persons.
But like, so the goal isn't to create your own values. The goal is
It's to create your essence in the world based on the things that you choose to value.
Just be
So
yourself.
you create your life instead of
yeah.
having someone else or a different group tell you how you should be living.
Okay.
Because we're all limited by our subjectivity, so none of us are technically correct.
Okay. Wait, I thought it was a. Well, isn't that a very postmodern presupposition?
Well, it is postmodern philosophy.
Wait, I thought you said it was modern philosophy.
No,
No, I was talking about. Are you talking about before? That's not.
Wait, we're still talking about existentialism, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You said it's a modernistic
Well,
philosophy.
it's modern enlightenment into postmodern. It's still
so it's like
continuing.
it's bridging the gap.
There's still people writing. Like there's actually, I forgot what his name was, but there's actually someone who's still writing like existentialist philosophy. But he's incorporating
name's
like
Austin
race
Andrews.
and gender now, which is weird, but it's cool. Lewis Gordon.
Oh, who's
Gordon Ramsay.
Who's that?
He's a writer. Like he just writes. He holds like conferences and stuff. But this is still happening. Like it's still being built on. He criticized some of Sartre's stuff, and Sartre actually went back and corrected things.
I think I heard about that actually.
Yeah, it was like he actually like, and he was like, "You're right." Like I didn't even, because it's things in like the postmodern world that couldn't have been accounted for back then, because it
Okay.
wasn't being spoken about.
Fair enough.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. So like, what about this thing called free will then? Like would you say that that's a strong sort of point in existentialism? The idea that you have free
that
will.
we're complete, not free will, because free will has like all of those stigmas attached to it with like religion. But I would say like Sartre's main point, and I actually have like quotes on this, but it's basically
Quote.
yeah.
She's got her own prompt.
Basically he says he was criticized a lot for existentialism as a humanism, and basically his response to a lot of it was that people are afraid to be free. Like people don't want to realize their freedom. They want to follow something that they believe is morally correct, so that because they're scared of like the unquestionable, like unthinkable things.
Is it that they're scared, or is it just physically impossible?
Well, I think they want answers. People want answers. We can't live in comfort without having answers for things, and there are no definite answers for some things in life.
Not really. No.
Yeah.
But like, I feel as if. Wait, so what is he saying exactly about free will? Is that like that we don't have it
He
because we're
said
scared?
no, that we are completely free people, but a lot of people don't take it. Which I'm not sure if I do agree that we are free, but I do think, and that was something he was criticized on, the roadblocks that get in the way of some people. So like Existentialism as a Humanism was one of his first works.
Yeah.
But later on, he wrote a book called Anti-Semite and Jew, where he talks about how Jewish people can't really be completely free because they walk outside and they're judged by other people and they're oppressed and they're brought into camps, because he was writing post-World War II.
Yeah.
So he kind of corrects some of that. So society kind of gets in the way, but in an idealistic existentialist world, we would all be completely free.
All right. Fair enough. So wait. My question still stands.
Man, the minute you say that all people should be free, suddenly Austin's like synapses in his spine just like stop.
No, but like, is he saying that we have it or no? Yeah.
We do have complete
free will.
freedom, because we have freedom to choose our essence.
Okay.
But people don't take that a lot of the time, and they hold on to things like religion and groups where they find comfort and,
Couldn't you do that with
familiarity.
philosophy in and of itself, though?
Yeah, of course you can. People that think the same way as you is way more
Well, yeah, that's what I was
comforting.
gonna say. Like, it sounds like he's trying. Like, it sounds like the idea is that you're supposed to recognize the difference between conformity and unconformity.
But it's a constant, I think, at the end of it, and a lot of it's like psychological, but it's about constantly viewing yourself and working on yourself. It's not like you're going to wake up one day and decide to be existentialist and, you're going to have all the answers and you're going to do everything
You're
right
going to make a podcast.
and live authentically. You're going to have to reassess yourself throughout your life and be like, am I living authentically? Am I doing what I want, or am I just following other people?
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, I guess I don't really particularly like this idea of authenticity, because like,
why would you?
well, the idea is that like being authentic means that you're as closely aligned with your own personal beliefs as possible.
Which Austin thinks is literally impossible.
Well, why do you think
I think it's
that's
kind of impossible.
Why would you define that as authenticity?
Well,
Because that's not how.
Well, I was trying my best to sort of understand the definition, but what is authenticity? If you'll explain it.
Basically, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna try. I don't really have anything written down. No, like, he basically describes it, like, in one of his writings, he talks about, like, the role of a waiter. And the waiter is living inauthentically because he's only being a waiter. So the way that he's viewing himself in the moment, he's living in bad faith because he's not showing the human parts of himself.
Oh,
if that makes sense.
No,
so whatever.
It's a facade. It's veneer.
Exactly. So you're gonna be in different scenarios in your life constantly, and they're constantly changing.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is to live authentically is to bring all of your existential project and all of yourself into those positions, no matter what role you're playing. So like in Anti-Semite and Jew, they talk about how to live as an authentic Jewish person after World War II, which is difficult. And they talk about those who hide it, those who try and hide it, those who blab it out to the world and claim it.
Well, yeah, like I was reading some of the stuff he was talking about when Paris was occupied by the Germans, about how people sort of acted as if somewhat that nothing really was wrong.
Right, and that's living inauthentically.
They even started, when a German would ask for directions in Paris, like in sort of kind of broken, choppy French, they would even encourage him to speak proper French, it was a sort of weird disconnect between like what was actually happening and what they were trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems in the context of like a kind of horrendous situation like the Nazi occupation of Paris, I feel as if that idea of bad faith really matters, because I mean obviously maybe we don't want to be occupied by the Germans anymore, but like I feel as if if you're in the case of like a waiter, like I guess it's kind of moot. But like I know what it sounds like I'm trying to do, like where it's like, oh, you're trying to measure severity of action. When some people try to measure the severity of certain situations.
Well, obviously there's a huge difference between the two, but it's basically the same idea of not having the facade.
Well, what if the waiter is a Nazi?
Then we got a serious situation.
I Nothing. Really, I tried coming up with a funny joke about like a fly in the soup and that being a Nazi dealing with the problem. It doesn't. No scenario in my head is something that's like funny.
Geez, Mike, you sure are quite the guess, man.
Oh yeah.
All right. But no, like I think my big thing is like the thing I love the most about that came from existentialism is absurdism. Like I think that was my favorite thing. And I think that kind of, like, the whole idea of absurdism kind of just, like, I feel as if you can really just look at that and kind of push it all to the side because, like, I take it a step further by making the case that, okay, so you can, like, I feel as if there's a sort of, I don't know what the word is. I don't even know if there is a word for this, what I'm trying to describe. So I might just have to create one. But there's a sort of... things are happening simultaneously all the time, I feel, even if they contradict one another. And I feel as if people act within a veneer and outside of veneer, like, at the same time. Like, I think there's a sort of mutualism between...
Two-faced?
No, it's not necessarily. I think people are acting, like, to use a sort of modern term, I think people are acting fake and real at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Is that dualism?
Well,
Fake
no,
realism.
that's the whole facticity and transcendence thing, though. That's like, there's things about you that are inherently true to your situation in the world, but transcending them is where you go out and you do.
That's mind-body dualism, what you're referring to.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Well, what is that?
Time to do a whole episode about it.
The division of something conceptually into two opposed or contrasted aspects, or the state of being so divided. And then you can refer to it in whether or not your consciousness of your body versus your mind, like the mind-body problem.
Yeah, I suppose. But what I'm really
That sounds
trying
more
to,
like dissociation.
yeah, what I'm really trying
Which
to
I'm
say
about to do
though,
right now.
but what I'm really trying to say is that there is a particular kind of.
All right, I'm back to associating. Give those back. They're expensive.
What I'm really trying to say is that there's a kind of there is the duality, but I feel as if the duality it combines all the time into like a kind of oneness, though. Mm-hmm. Like the
One is the loneliest number
what?
that you'll ever do, dude.
Why?
2 can be as bad as 1 because it's the loneliest number since the number 1.
Austin doesn't know what music is.
You've never heard that song?
No.
I don't really know what you're talking about.
I don't even know what you're talking about either.
You don't know the song One is the You've never heard that
What
song.
is it from?
Maybe you're just doing a really
It's
bad
not
job singing
Elton
it.
John, sorry. Maybe I am. It's by Harry Nilsson or something.
Hey Jamie, pull up.
Yeah, Jamie, pull it up
I hate you all.
and make it volumed. If you understand what I'm saying.
No, don't actually play it.
Yes, actually play it because
No.
they definitely know the song.
No, nobody
Yes, they
cares.
did. We're gonna.
Tonight.
What? Oh, them too. They also did it.
Anyway.
Whatever.
I think that's what you're talking about is the essence that they're talking about, like merging your facticity and your transcendence.
Well, no, I don't think it's like an active thing though. Like I think it's like, I guess
It's a
like,
defense mechanism.
It's not.
no, but I think maybe I'm really
It's a
focused
defense
on.
mechanism. I'm telling
Well,
you.
no, hold on. But I don't think it's like an active sort of thing. I think it's active and passive at the same time. But like, I think I'm kind of lingering too much into like transcendent ideas. But I think it's like an all-encompassing force of the universe, though. Like this idea that the universe, like the entirety of it is absurd, and that translates into literally every aspect of being. Like I feel as if I'm not even really trying to criticize existentialism necessarily, but I'm literally just saying how like the reason why I think that there is like one of the chief reasons I think there's a component of faith into it is because I feel as if everybody at the same time recognizes and doesn't recognize this inherent absurdity, and so like in order to act as if everything's normal, they sort of apply faith to, or rather they utilize faith in order to derive some kind of comfort from it, you know? But I think that existentialism is doing the same thing. I feel as if it's guilty of that same, not guilty, that's kind of a negative word, but you know, I feel as if it's trying to kind of propagating the same thing it's kind of saying that is not like the source of, I guess, the problems, you know, in the world. Like it's when we did postmodernism, the chief I talked about the chief criticism of it, about how it's anti-meta narrative, but it's a meta narrative. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's trying to combat meta narratives with meta narratives. Like, I feel as if this is just fighting fire with fire.
Okay, well, what's your definition of absurdity?
Well, I think I have an interesting.
Tales from the bottom of the ocean.
The sock puppet episode was pure absurd.
No, seriously, because that's like.
It was actually
a
called The
term.
Absurd and the Abstract. But yeah, no, like my definition of absurdity is, I think absurdity is actually like a. For one thing, absurdity only exists because humans are there to actually perceive it. But at the same time, I think let me give you an example. So there's that whole you know that whole meme, like if the tree is in the forest and it falls and whatever, nobody's there to hear it, whatever, blah blah.
Mm.
Do you actually know? Because I paraphrased it really bad.
Well, I don't know what I know the idea of the. I don't know memes, so don't try.
No,
and-
you
No,
know,
it's not. He said meme to be funny and
if
cool.
a tree falls in the forest,
Yes.
And no one's there to
hear it,
doesn't
doesn't
make a
make a
sound.
noise.
No.
no, it's both.
It makes
No, there needs
sound
to be a receiver
waves.
No, but
for
there's
sound to work.
But it's both.
How do we even know the tree was there in the first place?
It's both. It's like Schrodinger's cat.
Watch out there, sir.
But don't you think that recognizing that we don't have answers to things is kind of fighting the absurdity?
I think it's when
Embracing
you.
it?
I think it's when you
it
stop
is-
caring
I think
about
it is
when it's
embracing it
absurd.
and isn't.
Yeah, but that's kind of what else can you do with that?
I think the only thing you can do is to utilize this tool called faith to, despite that ridiculous contradiction that's constantly present, to manifest meaning from values.
Sounds like a coping
But
mechanism.
that's basically just being able to
I think
quiet
it's-
down the absurdity and just live your life with. That's basically what.
And then if you
existentialism is
embrace the
doing.
absurdity, you become a sicko like me.
Is that actually what it's doing?
Well, I think that what you're saying, if you're talking about faith in a way that's not like God based, yeah, we're deciding personally what we think should have meaning in life, and whatever noise is going on around us, we can either listen to it or we can not listen to it. But you could either embrace it or you could fight it.
Yeah. But
Oh,
I
can't
think,
you just ignore it?
Yeah, but that would be kind of fighting.
but I feel as if
Gandhi.
I feel as if like they're trying to say that it's like an active, and it's not like.
It's all subconscious. But the reason that it's
Wait,
active,
are they saying it's subconscious or not? Because I feel as if
Yeah.
they really are just saying it's active.
Being in Nothingness, which is a book I'm reading right now about
Didn't you read
Sartre.
it?
I read the first.
No, you tried to read it.
I read the first 6 pages. I'm like, this is hard. I think I got a badly translated copy of it because it was written in French, wasn't it? And then it translated to English.
French.
The English in it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like it's very oddly structured.
Poo-poo,
I mean, I feel like
PPS,
all philosophy is
existentialism.
kind of like. Did you get the one?
I got the one with not rainbow, but it's a white book for the most
Yeah,
part.
that's the one I have.
I'm having such a damn hard time reading it.
It's the King
No, I think
James
it's a
version.
great book, but he talks about the unconscious mind and how we're not doing any of these things voluntarily. I mean, some people self-reflect a little more than others, but for the most part, they're talking about things that happen on a day-to-day basis for everybody and in everyone's life, but they're things that people don't necessarily think or talk about every day.
Yeah.
But existentialism talks about it because it's dissecting it beyond belief.
I think God's getting angry at us.
Y'all doing existential?
Not allowed.
But I think that's the reason as to why it would seem so active. But I think for most people, practicing it in their lives or, no one's examining it every day as much as Sartre does in his books. Like that would be ridiculous.
Sartre can examine a lot of things. Have you seen his eyes?
Yeah.
All I remember from the first few pages, it was he was a lot of negative and positives. I remember reading about.
The
Did you read the
duality of the
intro?
universe.
Because the intro would have made it.
I don't remember. I tried 2 years ago, and the reason why I bought the book was because it made a cameo appearance in The Big Lebowski. That's why I bought it. I'm like, if I read this, I'll have everything figured out. And then I got the book. I'm like, I don't understand.
My point is that there's a goal to existentialism, isn't there? Like I can be
essence.
okay with that if there was if there wasn't really a goal, but if there's a goal, right?
I think the goal is constantly being revised and the goal is to create an essence, but that's something that's technically not possible because
isn't oh okay no
we're
you
in
said
a constant-
no I asked if it was to create values, but
No.
values and essence are the same thing.
your values determine your essence, but I think an essence is something that's not, it's becoming, it's not a being state.
Oh, so it's
So
like the
you're
midway
constantly
point.
revising, you're constantly changing your ideas about things or learning more and experiencing more, and then you change your values and you change your direction in life, which is something people are constantly doing.
Wait, so values is here, meaningless is here, and in the middle there's essence. So it's kind of like the median, the midway point in between these two things.
Essence?
Yeah, it's you trying to achieve, it's you trying to derive something from your values, but you're not quite there.
I think essence is the
yet.
transcendent part of it all.
Yeah.
Because your existence is made up from your facticity and your transcendence, and that's what creates your essence. So,
Yeah.
like, your facticity is the things in your life. So that could be values.
Wouldn't the facts of your life be kind of subjective with how you view them?
That's the whole point.
So
you
if
give
you-
value to them.
Oh, wait, so couldn't you be like, let's say you could be like, couldn't you be a Christian and an existentialist in that case?
Yeah.
Of course you can.
That's crazy. Oh, we have to drive home in the rain.
It's raining right now, like really hard.
Is it? Is that what
Yeah.
that is?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what that is.
That's water hitting the roof.
And that's thunder cracking.
Oh, shit.
God is angry, dude.
You didn't invite him. What can I say?
So we should have God on as a guest.
He's already here, man.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
He's inside us all along.
He's omnipotent like that turtle from the It.
What?
Dude, when I tell people the actual story behind It, they're like, that's not real. And then they look up it on the Stephen King wiki and they're like, that's so stupid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it, like,
Entire plot or like the turning point?
no, the fact that it itself is running away from an intergalactic turtle trying to eat it. And in the book, it does eat it.
In the book,
What?
the kids also have an orgy.
they're
though.
like he's an interdimensional horror, and like there's like a morally good interdimensional giant sea turtle that eats his kind, and he's basically running away from the freaking turtle.
Cool.
It's stupid, but it's cool.
Yeah, it is kind of stupid and cool. It's both, dude. It's absurd.
They can't put that in. I don't think they put that in the movie. I don't know. I didn't see.
No,
the,
they have to do more parts of it. Like
they're not good. Like, dude, people are gonna watch and expect Scary Clown, and then Scary Clown's getting eaten by a turtle.
Is
And they're
that
be
gonna
like,
happen in it too? 'Cause
Possibly.
I'm gonna
I don't know.
boycott it.
I mean, there's
You're
a lot of things that should have
boycotting?
happened.
That should not happen. I don't want it to end like
There's
that.
a lot of.
Well, this is the thing, though. They purposely nowadays don't let Stephen King do anything with the movies because apparently he gets like really antsy about certain things, even though they're not really changing anything. So they're like, we're just gonna make it cool for theatrics. That's why some people think some Stephen King movies are really good, and some think they aren't. And a lot of the times, the ones they think they aren't, he had like a direct like involvement with it.
Well, the only one that he liked was Storm of the Century, which he wrote the screenplay for.
Yeah, if he's not involved, he doesn't like it, and it's solely because he wasn't involved. He's just like me, because I hate every episode that doesn't have me in it.
But every episode has you in
Now
it.
you love
No.
the aesthetics episode.
Wait, what episode of what you're talking about? The show?
The one with Joseph? Yeah, this one.
What? Oh.
I was not in that show in any way, shape, or form.
And you know what? It was amazing.
And I wasn't even mentioned, despite the fact I've known Joe since first grade.
I mentioned that you were
mention.
dead.
Oh, thanks. You lied about my status on this planet.
Oh, Deja Vu. I think you told me that I lied about it. Fuck, whatever. It doesn't matter.
I'm so glad we could curse now.
Anyway, yeah, meaning and values. Like it's a weird kind of it's
Oh, yeah?
it's a weird kind of vehicle to achieve, I guess, authenticity, which I feel as if, like, the thing is,
You didn't even know what authenticity meant 2 minutes ago. Now you're saying all this?
well, no, what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, all right.
Authenticity, I feel as if it's just another kind of. I mean, authenticity. It's a state of being, right? Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhat.
Wait, somewhat. Wait, is it or not?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not a different state of. It's a state of mental being.
I think it's a state of being that you either are or you aren't.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
the thing. You could live a completely unauthentic life and you would never know.
Well, that's
or
just-
maybe
But
you would.
you are and you aren't at different moments, and that's what makes all of this a completely like self-corrective, evolving
Scam.
thing.
well, but I think that you are
Thank
and aren't, like, within a state of equilibrium, though. So, like, it's.
Now he's using another big word.
Well, no, but you know what equilibrium means.
I know what it
at the
means,
same, I don't think at the same time. They,
No, I think that you can act authentically. Like, I think you are.
This is how
authentic-
I imagine what you're saying about acting authentically and not. All right, so let's say someone makes you pissed off. You're like, haha, go fuck yourself. I think that is acting authentically and inauthentically because you're saying what you mean, but you're doing it in a cutesy way so you don't get called out for it.
Well, I think that you can never exactly say what you mean, but what you do
Fuck
say.
yourself.
No, but what you do.
See, it's so easy.
But what you do end up saying is just. It is what it is. Like it's coming
even
from you
worse.
anyway.
It's even worse because then you're thinking like, did he really mean go fuck myself, or was he just kidding? So it's psychological warfare at that point.
But I think that's nitpicking something that, like, if somebody
it's Austin's
says
whole
something
deal.
mean to you, is that going to affect the rest of your life?
Well, this is his
Depends.
example, not me. So you gotta ask
yeah.
him.
But I mean, I think the whole point is, like, the
Well,
things
you
that
could-
are really important are the things that are, like,
Your actions? Can you really do an action
that
inauthentically?
play in every day. Like, it's not about, you know, you blowing somebody off and not letting it bother you, because
But what if I blew them up?
that's part of your existential project.
You're
I don't
acting
know.
authentically.
I don't
dude.
know. Don't blow people up, please.
I blew
I
their
think
Twitters up instead.
I just think that this sort of idea of authenticity is kind of moot. Like it's like I feel as if you can. I just conjoin the two act of not acting authentically and acting authentically into just one thing.
You don't think there's a single person on Earth that's always acted authentically?
No, not.
Okay, but
Yeah, me either.
like, can I ask a question? Like,
100% at least.
Okay, so if you're acting authentically is not acting in line with I guess the values that you've cultivated.
Isn't it?
Not acting authentically?
Yeah, like is that not acting authentically?
Yeah. So if
So-
you say
Yeah.
something to me that I strongly disagree with,
I'm very sorry for my hiccups.
Go on.
and I just decide to agree with you, that's acting inauthentically.
Okay. But what if you're just doing that because you
This is
have an
what you
ulterior
do.
motive? What if you
That's
just want
still
to
being inauthentic to who I choose to be in my existential project. But I think you're getting too hung up on whether you can or cannot be authentic. Because the whole point is to, like, the whole, like, Sartre's bad faith and being an authentic person is to be self-aware and to be better when you can be better. And to constantly be trying to live authentically. You might not be able to live authentically because there's so much noise going on in the world and in our heads and, like, around us, but we can always try.
That kind of reminds me. I was thinking about this because someone had said that humans are generally egotistic, which I disagree with. But then the same day,
I 100% agree with that.
there is this person outside asking for donations, and they came up to us, and I told the person I was with, just ignore them, and I walked past them. I think where we live specifically makes it really hard to be authentic, because, like, I would like to help you, but it's just a New York state of mind that I'm not going to help you because you're getting in the way.
Or we don't know if you need help.
Or if you don't really, yeah, that's true. Like
Yeah,
that too.
looking for
Like
drug
Like if
money.
you're a Penn Station homeless guy, you make 6 figures.
that's different. This was like a girl, like she was doing donations for a legitimate charity, but I don't care. Even though we're a legitimate charity, and you better give us money, because, like,
We're gonna die otherwise.
in the arms of an angel. Like that. Like if I don't get like $1 right now, I'm gonna get taken out back and.
Oh Jesus! It's like a pyramid scheme. Oh Jesus!
I want to run a pyramid scheme. That sounds like fun.
This is purely living inauthentically.
Is it?
Purely.
I mean, if all right, but if your ideals of getting money is you could get it no matter however you want, and you're perfectly fine with ripping people off, are you living authentically or not?
That's why I say, like, this. I think that you're just doing both at the same time.
Well, where would that seem morally wrong from?
From someone else's opinion, because if you don't find it morally wrong, then
Then,
are you living authentically? Yeah.
fuck yeah, you are.
So then, what is this? Why are you adding another? Like, why are you saying both? How is that both?
I think it's both because
Why?
Like, yeah, I think it's both.
Why?
Hold on, Jesus. Because I mean, are values dynamic?
Yes.
Okay, so
So
how dynamic are
if
they?
I'm morally bankrupt and I'm acting on my moral bankrupt nature,
Yeah.
I'm being authentic, and there's no question about it.
I just think that you're too trustworthy of the concreteness of your own values. Like I don't.
What does that mean?
But who else's values are you supposed to follow?
Yeah,
I think that your values aren't necessarily even yours. That's the thing. Like,
but they are. I made them.
No, you can't make values.
But
Yes,
you
can.
choose them.
I made this.
You can
You
choo-
didn't create the idea because nothing really comes out of our brains first because there's
Yeah.
years behind us. But
yeah,
you
there's
can
severe
choose.
limitations.
You can choose your values
I don't know. I think
or
that I-
choose what values you want to like use. At
I feel
one
like they're
time.
not always a choice though. I feel like some values really do come to you out of like necessity.
Like what?
Like, all right, let's say, I think a horrible example would be, let's say you're in prison, and there's certain things you have to do, even if you wouldn't normally do them. You just have to do them to survive.
yeah.
And I feel like those end up just sticking with you when you get out, like with a lot of people.
But
Or-
you're choosing to survive, and you're choosing
Are
to
you
let them
choosing to
stick
survive?
with you. Yeah, because you could just die if you wanted.
I don't
Do-
think you can.
Well, if you're gonna get killed in prison, if you choose not
You're probably
to
not
do
gonna
something,
get killed in prison. You're just gonna get.
Fucked up.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to choose to get fucked up every day and still stick by your values, you
That's
could
why
do
I'm,
that.
I'm saying we have to get an ex-felon on the show. I'm not
How
kidding.
much of an
we really
existentialist
do.
are you? Huh? What do you think of this guy named Sartre? Don't worry. Is he looking in this direction or that direction? Can't really tell. Well, let me know what you think about him. No, but my point is that I think you're just doing both. I think that you can argue that there's a sort of innateness to sort of picking certain values to certain situations. I think you can argue.
I think you're
there's a-
rubbing against my chair too much.
I'm sorry. I think you can say that there's an active role using your own rationalism
Now
in
you're
order
doing
to.
it.
What?
Sorry.
There's an active role. You can rationalize a reason why you can achieve this value and then try to stick with it. I think that it's both. Like I think that there's just a kind of duality that can't be separated from each other. That it all just combines into this sort of onward going sort of relax.
But don't you think it would be from situation to situation? Like I can't see how you could be in one situation and be authentic and inauthentic. And I mean like moment by moment. So we could be sitting here for 5 hours and different things could happen and I
Yeah.
could act inauthentically at one moment and then authentically at another.
I agree.
That's why I think it's.
and
moot.
what if?
But
what if?
not-
Wait,
at
hold
the
on,
same
hold on,
time.
we gotta actually end it. But like, that's what I was gonna say. Like, that's why I think it's moot. Like, I think that's why I think like, why are we just reducing it to this much when there's like literally the endless expanse of time?
My final statement is: I think you could act inauthentically and have that be authentic in and of itself. If you're just an inauthentic person,
I think you
On
can.
purpose.
I think that your authenticity can even itself be inauthentic, which is why even divorce the two. It's all just one thing. And I think you can live comfortably knowing that there is a sort of oneness about it. And
Speaking of divorces, we gotta go.
yep,
So I'm Mike Kempf.
I'm Austin Andrews.
What are you? Who are you?
Bella Chulo.
Bella Chulo.
Well, Isabella, yeah. Yeah, Chulo. What?
Oh.
You're gonna make fun of my name now?
No, that would be living authentically, and I don't.
What if your
actually
name?
do it.
What if your name was Angel
That was
Austin's?
rude.
That's possible.
Listen, all right, this show's over.
These lights are hot.
Oh my god! You didn't even get into the trash can.
My name is Austin Andrews. I love all of you. Thanks you for watching. I'm gonna be streaming tonight at 9. Salty Sea Gaming.
We already cut the stream, dude. What are you talking to? No,
Oh.
I'm kidding. We didn't.
Did you enjoy that, Mike?
Yeah, it was fun.
We're going down.